Hey, Ace Ball fans. Welcome back to Season 2 of the Aces Loaded podcast. We are thrilled to be back, and baseball is back at Greater Nevada Field this year. We have a great summer coming from you on the Aces Loaded podcast. We're going to be releasing our episodes every Wednesday before a homestand. We'll be talking about that upcoming homestand, looking back on the previous road trip. Zach's going to take you behind the scenes with player interviews and more, and all kinds of different fun that we have planned for you guys. So keep it tuned in all summer long on the Aces Loaded podcast.
Back at Greater Nevada Field on a beautiful day. We're just a day away from baseball. We're here with Seth Beer. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Super excited to get the season going. Guys have been waiting for this for a long time, including myself. I think coming out here last night, being able to hit BP actually with some people out in the stands was a pretty cool experience, and I'm just eager to get the game going.
What was it like taking BP at this ballpark? I mean, it definitely flies here as it does in ballparks in this league, but what was it like for you?
It was awesome. I think this whole atmosphere of the whole ballpark is pretty cool. The ball does take off, and as a guy who makes his living on hitting a baseball, that's kind of a big deal, so I'm happy about that.
You were traded mid-2019 for Zack Bayrouty. What was that experience like for you? And does it feel so far away now that we've been through all this?
It definitely was a crazy experience. I was only in pro ball for about a year at the time, and it's something you'd see on TV all the time, so hear about. But then then it happens to you, and it kind of turns your world upside down for a little bit. But over the course of time, it almost feels like an eternity ago, and the group that I'm here with now, I feel so comfortable with, the coaching staff, the players. I felt like I've known them for a long time. So super exciting to be able to play with guys and be coached by people that fully and trust. So I think that's a pretty cool experience.
I know it's tough to get traded, but when you get traded for a guy like Zack Bayrouty, I mean, is there some measure of kind of honor in that? I mean, to be valued as up there with a guy like that.
Definitely. He's a guy I grew up watching all the time.
Yeah.
And watching him pitch. So to kind of be linked with some of my good friends that were part of that trade as well, and always kind of be linked to him is a pretty cool experience.
What was last year like for you, going through COVID and just trying to stay mentally tough, I guess, going through that?
You can look at it two ways. It was a tough experience. In some extent, you're inter squatting every day. We're out in Phoenix, and in the middle of July and August, it's 120 degrees, and you're playing playing on spring training fields. But I'll never forget flying home. I said, no matter where my career takes me, that would probably be the toughest experience I got when it comes to it. So to come to a beautiful ballpark like this with the weather like this, man, it's awesome. So I took it as a learning experience to get better as a player, not only physically but mentally. And it's something you look back on and you kind of smile and joke with some of the other guys that were part of that, and just go, we're just excited to get back to real baseball and real playing.
How did you stay in shape, and how did you get those reps that you badly needed? For me personally, I was converted from the outfield to first base, and that was my drive every day, was to continue to work and get better at first base, because that's a place that they're asking me to play, and obviously that's a place that I want to play to the best of my abilities. So every day when we're out there and it's smoking hot outside, I'm taking ground balls, I was trying to stay as focused as possible, and any kind of game reps I was grateful for. 5-inning inter squads or whatever it was, I was just excited to be out there, and that's just kind of the outlook a lot of guys had to have throughout the whole thing. So that's what made it fun, and kind of had to create your own entertainment with that. How'd that go for you, making the transition, and how did you grow in that role?
I think it was huge. I think it was more hands-on. There was less guys, so guys really got to take full extent of what they needed to get better, and the coaching staff was really good. And Lolly was there. And he kind of was really good with, hitting me fungos in that heat anytime I needed them, and all that stuff, and extra work, all kinds of stuff, and just honestly, to getting to know a lot of those coaching staff guys that are here now was awesome for me, and I think it helped me grow as a player.
How excited are you to finally make your AAA debut? It was probably going to be last year, and I think it's something everyone thinks about. You're one step away from the big leagues, but how excited are you for the opportunity?
I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely excited, not only just play in front of fans, but
me and I'm sure all the other guys can say this. We've worked a year of really no baseball to get to this point, and I think guys are just really ready to kick it off. And for me, I'm just excited to go out and play and just play the game that God gave me the opportunity to play, and just go out there and have fun and play it like a kid.
You're from Georgia. You went to Clemson, and now you're here in Reno, Nevada. What's the big thing you're noticing here? It's quite a different place than the place you're used to, I'm sure.
It's beautiful here. I really like it. There's no humidity. That's kind of a big deal. I get used to it. I grew up my whole life, in humidity, and I'm used to that. So coming out here, and understanding, I walk outside and I'm not sweating right out the gate. It's kind of cool. So, but also just getting out here and just baseball takes you to some weird different places all over the country, and it's pretty cool that I get to experience places all over the United States and get to play in all these different areas, and everything has something unique more than the other, and it's pretty cool.
You're gonna love it here, man. Do you have any goals this season?
Honestly, just to be the best player I can be, whatever that is, to go out there and just execute the abilities that I have, and just try to go out there and just play to the best of my abilities. That's all I really got.
Hey, we're happy to have you here, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Seth Beer, welcome to Reno. All right, we're here with Seth Frankoff. It's a beautiful day at Greater Nevada Field. We're a day away from actual baseball. How you doing, man?
Doing fine, thank you. It's good to be here. Excited to get the season going.
Full disclosure, you and I go back a long ways. I've kind of watched your career take some twists and turns. First of all, how are you?
Doing well. Obviously the last year and a half has had its challenges and obstacles for everyone, but we're still here and we're excited to get going.
You were in South Korea for a little while. You won a championship, right, with Doosan over there?
Yes, I did.
What was that experience like for you in South Korea?
It was interesting. Obviously there was a lot of nuances to it. You're learning a different culture. My first year there, my wife and I, we just had our little girl, so we were learning to be parents and also do it on the other side of the world. But it was really good. They treated us well. Seoul was a beautiful city, and learned a whole lot about ourselves and about other cultures while we were there.
I followed you guys on social media, you and Bess and Glenlee, your beautiful daughter. You also have a child on the way, right?
Yeah, we got a little boy on the way.
Congratulations. What do you guys do, and how is everyone doing?
We're trying to stay afloat, treading water. It's they're still in Scottsdale right now. They're fixing to go back home to North Carolina, but we're doing well. It's just it's a little bit of a different process this year as opposed to last year, so we're just trying to take it one day at a time and not get ahead of ourselves.
Sure. What decision did you have to make as far as coming back here? Do you have the opportunity to stay in South Korea? Obviously you came back, which means you had an opportunity here, but take us through that decision.
It was one of those things where I felt like I'd had a couple of good years, and I still felt like there was unanswered business kind of be handled here in the States. I had a small taste in the major leagues before I'd gone over there, and went over there and was able to take care of my family financially. It was great, but really wanted to be back in the big leagues, and got that opportunity last year. Albeit it was a lot different season than what we were expecting.
Sure.
But excited for this opportunity with the Diamondbacks here, and for right now I'm here with the Aces, and I'm looking forward to trying to pitch well and help this team win some ball games.
What was that like with Seattle last year?
It was it was a different situation. I was not in spring training with them. I was with the Padres, and I elected free agency and then signed with
Padres. That's right.
Yeah. So when summer camp started, I elected free agency and signed with Seattle, and I was new to their organization, so it was kind of learning them, but also getting to the alt site and having to get going really fast to be ready to go up to the major leagues. And it was it all kind of happened really fast, but it was a good experience. Seattle treated me well. I enjoyed my time there, but here I am now with the Diamondbacks. So.
What's your early impressions of the Diamondbacks organization?
It's easy to say that everybody's a good guy. And a lot of organizations talk about we only want good people here, but that's the one thing that they really they preach, and also is in actuality the way it is here. Everybody's been really good. They've been a joy to work with, and they've really helped me kind of fine tune some things and individualize a plan where I can kind of maximize my potential and help me. If I can be my best self on the mound, that's good for myself and the organization.
So back in the day, I'm going to take you back to 2013. You were a reliever in Stockton. You were middle relief to the back end of the bullpen guy. You've evolved since. What's your role going to be now in this organization? Have they told you, or is it?
I'm supposed to be stretched out. They signed me with the understanding it's kind of like a little bit of a Swiss Army knife. I can kind of fill any role, but right now I'm here to get stretched out and start, and just take the ball every 5 days and do the job, and then hopefully there's a need up top, and we go from there. But for right now, I'm supposed to be starting.
You started in Korea, right?
Yes, I did.
What was the experience like starting? Coming from the A's and being a bullpen guy, and coming from the Cubs and mostly being a bullpen guy.
It was good. I like the routine of starting. I like knowing when I'm going to pitch, so I can get my work in between. Over there it was a little bit different because they go on a 6-day rotation for the most part, so you have that extra day. It was good. It helped me kind of figure out some things about myself and make some adjustments to help me be the best possible pitcher I can be.
Do you have any goals this year coming into the season? It's kind of a weird year coming from last year. So
Absolutely.
Is there anything you're thinking about?
Ultimately you want to continue to get better each day. You want to perform well, and you want to get to the major leagues and stay. So that's kind of it for me.
I hope you do, man. It's
Thank
so
you.
great to see you, Seth.
Yes, sir. You as well.
Looking forward to a great season. Seth Frankoff.
Now to our other top story tonight, there will be no ace ball in 2020.
For the first time in the history of minor league baseball, an entire season has been canceled.
This news was expected given the current health crisis. This afternoon's announcement means that we'll not be playing ball this season along with the nearly 160 other minor league teams.
That ball is crushed. How about another 2-home run game?
2-2 on the way from Clark. Swung on and missed.
Walker belts one way out of here and gone. Oh my goodness.
Swung on, fly ball into center, chasing Brito back. Socrates racing. He makes the catch.
The throw from Brito is right there, and they got it.
From downtown Reno, welcome back to Greater Nevada Field for another season of Reno Aces baseball.
It's a beautiful day at Greater Nevada Field. We're here with Ben Deluzio. How you doing, man?
Good.
Welcome back to Reno.
Glad to be back.
Does
to be back.
Does it feel like forever ago that you were here? You were here for 39 games in 2019, but how far away does that feel?
Gosh, honestly, it feels like a decade, but honestly, it was only 2 years?
Yeah.
So
not even.
Yeah, not even 2 years. But it's nice to be back and in uniform. So.
What was the last year like for you? And tell us kind of what you did and where you were, how you stayed in shape.
Yeah, so I didn't end up getting put on the alt-site team in 2020 for the COVID, the new regulations and all that. So I kind of just went back to the drawing board, tried to get my body in the best shape that I could. Started working on not new, but I guess trying to revamp the swing a little bit to get some extra power in there, extra thump in the bat, and kind of just go with the flow and see what happened. And just kind of visited with the family a little bit.
Sure.
So that was actually kind of nice. That was one of the pluses of COVID. I got to be with the family for a longer period of time.
It's a plus for a lot of us, I think.
Yeah, so that was nice.
Tell us about the revamping of the swing and what led you to want to do that.
Yeah, it was in the past I've had like an issue with coming across the zone a little bit, and I kind of just wanted to work more through the zone and just be able to stay on pitches longer, and that kind of would help me with off speed and just to get
extra power that I'm trying to look for.
So you were in a unique situation last year where you weren't on the alt site team. So mentally, what was that like, trying to figure out if you were going to be placed somewhere and then taking it from there?
Yeah,
it's a unique situation.
Yeah, they had told me, you know, I was in the talks of getting put on the alt site team. Unfortunately, I wasn't. But they did tell me to stay ready, and obviously the call, it never did come, but it didn't change what I was trying to do. And that was just to stay as prepared as I could, just for whenever the call did come, and whether that was this year in 2021, you know, it's okay.
Interesting times. I'm going to take you back to 2019 on this field. You had a game, I called the game, I was filling in for Ryan Radke. You had two very similar diving catches in the same game. I'm sure you remember those.
Yep.
Can you take us back to those catches? They wound up on SportsCenter's top 10.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Honestly, being in the right spot at the right time, coaches, you know, they put me in a good spot in the outfield, and I kind of just, you know, let my legs do the work. And you know, on those catches, you don't really think that you're going to catch them, but it's just like, I'm going to throw my body as far as I can after this ball. I just hope it ends up in the glove.
I mean, come on, you grow up dreaming to have maybe one of those catches in your career. You had two in the same game. That had to be pretty fun just to execute them both.
Yeah, it definitely was nice to get both those under my belt, but those catches, you kind of just hope that it ends up in your glove, and it did that night.
That was pretty remarkable. I want to take you back on the field again in 2019 here, because you also hit 357 with Reno. What was the reason, if you can put your finger on one, for the success you had while you were here at AAA?
It was, you know, I kind of overthink and overanalyze sometimes, and the coaching staff just kind of had me, you know, just clear my head and come out and execute the game plan that I was trying to execute, and keep the approach and the swing simple. And I definitely believe that had success then, and that's kind of what I'm trying to bring to the games this year as well.
I know we're a couple of years removed from that, like we said, but having had that experience and gotten your feet wet here in 2019, does that kind of give you a base of confidence coming into this season here?
Yeah, level? Definitely. You know, every level that you go up, it's kind of that you get kind of anxious. You know, is this level, am I going to be able to compete? How am I going to do? Are these people going to overmatch me? But again, having the success that I had back in 2019, it just kind of goes to show you, if you just put in the work, you know, things will happen, and you can be successful.
I know you don't want to overanalyze, but do you have any goals coming into this season?
Oh gosh, honestly, no, like statistical. Actually, I do. I would like to steal. I would like to steal 40 to 50 bases this year.
I love the honesty when it comes out, because I ask this question all the time, and most guys are like, oh, you know, I'm just going to take it day by day. I love it, man. So how many are you looking for?
You know, 50 is a stretch, right? But I think that I can get 40 to 50 bags this year, and then from the plate perspective, I don't really have any statistical.
You don't want to hit 357 again?
I mean, I would, but I would love to just have good at bats with a lot of barrels. You know, just kind of looking for that solid contact and not wasting at bats.
Sure. We're looking forward to watching you pursue those goals, man. Welcome back to Reno.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's good to be back.
Ben Deluzio's got goals this year, folks. I'm a proud Reno transplant. The first time that I set foot in Reno actually was opening day 2013, and that was the day that I came to interview for a job with the Reno Aces. I think about what a friendly community this is. You know, I came in and was welcomed. People were very open with me, and when I say open, they were open in the best ways. They told me what was good. They told me what might not be great, that we could do better. But I was given a chance. What Reno is now is this incredibly vibrant, live, work, play, outdoor community. There are things to do in all parts of the community. Our downtown, we have a river running through it. If you're lucky enough to live in a city with a river in downtown, it's spectacular, everything that brings off of it. We're the smallest community that has AAA baseball, and I feel like that's a source of pride. Biggest Little City is a source of pride in that we can accomplish anything that the big cities can do, but we're gonna do it in a way that's a little bit more friendly and more inclusive. Creating the BLC, Biggest Little City brand, we wanted to create something that connected to our community beyond baseball. It's about uniting our baseball team to a community. And so we want this to be something that our community rallies around, that they support, and that also brings baseball players from diverse backgrounds all over the world, and sort of marks them as ours. When they wear that BLC hat, they now become part of Reno, part of Northern Nevada's culture and heritage and history, and we get to support those players, as they move through to the major leagues, and they'll always have the BLC in them. All right, Greater Nevada Fields is right behind us, and I'm here with the maintainer, the keeper of Greater Nevada Field, the actual field, Leah Withrow. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. We've done a couple of these interviews, and we've selected this spot because the beautiful field is in the background, and it really does look as beautiful in person as it probably does on camera. So congratulations on getting this field in the shape that it is right now. You're in your first season as the head groundskeeper, but you've been here for a few years. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey getting here and then staying here to the point where you're now in charge?
Sure. So when I was going to school for turf grass management, I needed a couple internships to graduate for credits, and I wanted to come home during the summer, and obviously the Aces were my hometown team. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to that head groundskeeper at the time and was able to secure an internship that summer, which was awesome, and I learned so much from him. And he had been here, he was the original groundskeeper when the park opened, and is still a really good friend of mine. And then I interned for the Brewers for a summer, came back to Reno the following summer as a seasonal assistant under a new head groundskeeper, and also with the inaugural season of soccer. I got to see how baseball and soccer both cohabited, which was very interesting. And then graduated college, got a job out of college that I wasn't super into, and then Joe, who I had interned with before, had a full-time assistant open. I was like, heck yeah, I want to come, and so I did. And then slowly over the last 3 years have went from a full-time assistant to a co-manager to now head groundskeeper.
That's an amazing story. The fields, you completely redid it. What prompted that, and what was the process like? I know a lot of people followed it on social media, the step-by-step, but what prompted whoever? Was it your decision, or was it the team's decision to get the new field?
The new field had been talked about for a few years. Just like any field, 10 to 12 years is about the lifespan of a natural grass surface, and we had definitely used every bit of those 12 years, especially with adding soccer and baseball and other events. There was so much happening on the field all the time that it had started to show its age, and everybody kind of knew that. And then after that 2020 soccer season, we had some field issues, and that was the deciding factor. And then we pulled the trigger on it, and there was a lot of layers and a lot of different steps that had to happen to get to this point. But I am more than thrilled with how it turned out. We completely redid our root zone, so it's all fresh sand underneath that grass. It's about 10 inches of USGA sand, which is a well-draining sand. It can't compact very easily. And then it's 100% Kentucky bluegrass on top of it. It's a heat and drought tolerant Kentucky bluegrass, so I think it'll fare well in our hot Reno summers, but it would also survive those colder winters that we sometimes get. And then brand new Major League Baseball style infield, which means it's a 0% grade infield and infield dirt, as well as the new mound and the new plate.
I don't know if it's because I haven't been to like a professional ballpark in over like a year and a half, but I can't stop looking at the field. Like, it really does look that amazing. Can you take us through the warning track too? Is that like softer than it used to be?
So it was about 3 inches low, 5 inches low in some spots. So we basically had to bring in about 20 tons of brand new warning track material.
20 tons?
Yes, just to level everything back out.
God.
Yep, because 5 inches across 2.5 acres is a lot.
That's wild. I'd imagine for someone who went to school to do turf management, it might be a dream project to redo a field like this. Would that be accurate?
Yes. There are some groundskeepers that go their entire career without doing a field renovation to this magnitude. So to have done it at 25 in being a head groundskeeper for 5 seconds was amazing, and obviously nerve-wracking and stressful, but I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. I had all the right people on my side and helped building the entire thing, so I'm very thrilled to see the Aces play on it this year.
How daunting was it on day one for you to see basically this whole field's gone?
It's well, the first day they brought a semi-truck out into center field and we're unloading equipment, and that stresses me out because I don't even like people walking on it. And then there's
I know how you groundskeepers
18-wheeler on the field. I was stressed, and I was like, you know what, we're tearing it out, it's fine. And then as it started coming out and more grass started coming out, more and more dirt started coming out, I was like, holy crap, this is real. Like, this is a giant sandbox that's somehow going to turn into a baseball field, and I can't believe how fast it came back together.
Can you just tell us lastly about the measure of pride when you look out there right now, what this thing looks like, and how just emerald green and sparkling it is, like how that makes you feel?
Very good, because I've put a lot of long hours and a lot of time into it, and it means a lot that you can visually see all that work that I've put into it, and it's such a great compliment to have staff notice a difference from the old field. Like, it is noticeably different, and have players come out yesterday, their first day in Reno, and they're FaceTiming family or friends, and they're like, look where I get to play this year. Like, this is a legit major league facility, and the coaches are taking pictures, and everyone's really excited about it. So that makes me feel like all the last 4 months have been worth something.
Hell of a job.
Thank you.
Thank you for the view I'm going to have all summer. I appreciate you.
You are welcome.
Leah Withrow has this awesome field looking great behind us.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode, Ace Ball fans. If you want to join us here at Greater Nevada Field, tickets will be available at RenoAces.com. And don't forget, the next podcast comes out in 2 weeks when the Aces return home on Wednesday.